Welcome everybody to ACRE's virtual tenant runway. We are excited that we get to still be able to do these things and be here virtually online with you via Zoom. ACRE, as you should know, hold on, I got an echo that I have to fix. ACRE, as you know, is a networking organization that is a nonprofit. We do these things, we do these events now for free, but we do them basically at cost. And the little money that we have, we give away to charity every year. And we just, we love that you guys are here and joining us today. A couple of things that I wanted to say up front is Prop 15 is coming up on the ballot, and we need your guys' help to get this proposition shut down. It'll disrupt our industry. As you know, it's the split roll tax, and we appreciate any support that you can give us. We were able to successfully during COVID laws and to get certain things from our campaigning. Elizabeth Ricci did a great job on our behalf and on behalf of our industry of really campaigning to get some of these things taken care of. So we would love your help and support to strike down Prop 15. And we wanted to make sure you're aware that that's coming up. We're gonna start doing social hours. So we'll make some announcements here in the future, but every couple of weeks or once a month, we're gonna get on Zoom and just hang out together as a community, as a industry. So we'll look forward to those things as we go forward. And then Charlie Cangliosi of Irish Commercial has put together an awesome grocery store panel, and that's going to be coming up soon. So look for the announcements, and we hope that you can join us for future events. Quantum Real Estate Advisors, Jared Minock, is sponsoring this event, and they're a new commercial real estate organization that has that they're doing great things, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship of this event. And we want to thank all of our sponsors. We still have gold and silver sponsors that have stuck with us through COVID, even though we're not doing events, but we want to promote them and use them when you can. There's on the slide, you can see below, they've been loyal to us, and they've been supporting our organization and our industry as it's been obviously disrupted. So we're gonna get into this event. We're gonna have 1 or 2 minutes per tenant is gonna talk about what they're expanding. And it's great that we have tenants out expanding right now. And sometimes we need to be reminded that, you know, yes, people are still doing deals. People are still out there looking for sites. And so we're gonna get through it fairly quickly. I would like to suggest ask questions. There's a question and answer button at the bottom of the Zoom. You can ask questions anytime during the event. I will try to moderate and bring those questions up after the tenant has spoken about their expansion plans, and we can we'll probably spend 3 or 4 minutes per tenant. But ask questions at any point in time. You think of something, please do bring it up. All right, so let's go to our first tenant, which is Pat Barber, but it doesn't look like he joined us, so we'll skip him. Pat reached out to me last week. He's got some family emergency to deal with, so he wanted to go first, but he didn't make it today. So we're gonna just go to Jay Chandler of Aldi. Jay, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys?
I can.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me be on here to talk about us. So for those of you who don't know, Aldi, we are a grocery chain from Germany. We are privately owned by the Albrecht family, and we just recently hit 2,000 stores in the U.S. here. We now have 78 stores in California, and we're actively trying to grow here. In terms of number of sites we're looking for, I mean, it just depends on what we can kind of get and what we can find. We don't have a defined number, but we are actively looking. let's see. Site criteria for us, we prefer to purchase. However, we will do a ground lease second to that because we like and have a great construction crew, and we have a certain look to every building. So it's important to us that we have that look. So we generally like to be in control of that process. Sites are normally on minimum of 1.5 acres, and our building size is anywhere from 20 to 24,000 square feet. Parking wise, we look for around 75 spaces or more. Let's see, what else do I have here? An ideal center for us, the neighborhood center, a community center. And when I say that, maybe a drugstore in there along with us. You'll see a lot of households surrounding the shopping center. And however, we do like to be by our competition, so we're not afraid of power centers and things of that nature. What's interesting about us is we like to go and disrupt competition. So if there is a Walmart or some big grocery chain near us, we will happily go on the doorstep of that competitor and compete because we think we got a great model. Let's see, what else do I have here? That's for a 3-mile radius, we kind of look for, or population demo wise, we look for about 75,000 people or more in a 3-mile radius. And that's kind of all I have for general question or general things about us. Is now Q&A, or what do you want me, any questions?
Sure, yeah, no. One of the questions was, Vicky asked, what are the determining factors for a 15-year lease?
I would have to say there's a number of things. I mean, it could be what rent is for that market, or what the landlord's willing to work with us on there, give us, and the site, really. I mean, what we think we're going to be able to do there numbers wise, and run it internally through our kind of checks and balances. Everything's a kind of a give and take.
Cool. I'm getting a bunch of questions about the slides. Yes, we'll get those to you guys. Whoever registered for the event, will email that out after. Another question came in. What is the required distance between locations?
That's a good question. We generally look for about 3 miles between locations. However, in very densely populated areas, we've been known to go 2.5.
Cool. Any other questions? If not, let's move on. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Jay, that was great. Next up is Baskin Robbins. Ivan Abreu, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you good. Cool.
All right. So good morning, everyone. My name's Ivan. I work for Dunkin' Brands. And while I do have some territory for Dunkin', I'm here to talk about our sister brand, Baskin Robbins. The real estate manager for the whole state of California. I do cover other states along the West Coast as well. And I've been with the brand about 6.5 years. So I'll just go straight to our site criteria. It's pretty simple for us. I assume most of you know our brand. We've been around 75 years. 75 years. And all we're looking for is 1,200 square feet of shop space, right? Preferably end caps. Obviously, we'll do inline. We can go smaller. I think the smallest we've done is 900 square feet. But keep in mind, we need a minimum storefront width of 18 to 20 feet. And in the smaller sites, I think we've gone as small as 15 feet, but the layout gets really tight for us in operations. They don't really prefer those. So 1,200 is our prototype. Obviously, we can go bigger depending on rent. What else? Patio. Obviously, patio is something we prefer, something we've been looking for even pre-COVID, not just for tables and chairs, but really we want the ability to have our umbrellas with our logo as well. And then lastly, we almost always have to be in a grocery anchored center, drugstore, co-anchor preferred. And then just as important, we do need a good food mix in the center, right? That's what usually makes our site successful, not just the anchor tenants, but a good food mix. As far as demographics, we succeed in highly dense Hispanic areas. All we're looking for is 13,000 people within a 5-minute trade area. And then as far as our expansion plans, we're a mature brand. We've got over 2,500 stores in the US and about 250 in Southern California. So really, we're looking just to infill areas where we currently are not, and doing some reloads as well. Incomes, you'll see there it says 55,000 plus. However, as you know, in parts of LA, Riverside, the Hispanic demos, usually the incomes are lower than that, and that's fine. So any sites that you have, feel free to send to me. We also have, I don't know if our broker is on. He said he was going to join, but Kevin Boasberg, if you know him, feel free to send sites to him. He covers the brand for us for the greater LA territory. That's all I got.
Cool. Any questions for Ivan? I've got a question, Ivan. Do you guys try to exclude the yogurt guys, or the, who do you not want to go next to?
Yeah, our exclusive language is pretty lengthy, and yogurt is included. However, we can coexist with them as long as we're not side by side, obviously. But we cannot, or our committee will not approve sites with, a Cold Stone, for example, inside, or any other hard scoop ice cream competitor in the same center. Maybe in a power center it would work, but traditionally in a grocery anchored center, it has to be us.
That makes sense. All right. Appreciate it, Ivan. If there's no further questions, I see there was a couple questions for Aldi, and I think we're going to have to get to those at the end just to keep the flow going. Next up is Jessica Chipotle. Jessica, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
No? Okay. Yes. Perfect.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I think everybody can hear you.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that. My name is Jessica. I cover the LA market for Chipotle all the way up through Central and Northern California. Just a little bit about what we are doing, what we're going to be doing. We just surpassed about 2,600 locations and opened our 100th Chipotle location, which I'll get a little bit more into. We opened about 140 stores last year. We'll be opening about the same amount this year, and then the plan is to further accelerate from there. Our focus is currently on what we're calling our Chipotle model. It looks like a drive-through, but functions a little bit differently. All ordering is done ahead through our app or online. And when you get to pick up your food, there's a reader board that will show your name when your food's ready, and then you drive through and pick up your food from the window. Because there isn't any ordering done in the queue, we have very minimal stocking. It's really little to none, which we've gotten really positive feedback on from municipalities. We've been able to get approval on some older drive-through conversions where the stocking is pretty minimal. We've also been able to get approval where maybe a traditional drive-through was not allowed on the basis that we are operating as a pickup window. So we are aggressively seeking Chipotle sites where this model could work for us. Our sweet spot's about 2,400 square feet. So please send over any sites to me. If it's not in my markets, I can get you to the correct person to take a look. Any questions?
Oh, yeah. Anybody have any questions for Chipotle? Has Chipotle ever considered doing a drive-through model, or is that not in your plans at all?
So initially, our Chipotle is founded by Steve Ells, classically trained chef. He adamantly did not want to do drive-throughs. So this was kind of meet in the middle halfway. But we did look at it, but we've actually seen really great success with this model. So we're continuing with it right now, kind of thinking it's the way of the future. There's a little bit of a learning curve at the beginning, but you know, once people use it and learn how to use it, we've seen really great success.
Do you have, someone asked the question, do you have a prototype or a plan that you can send out to us? Like
I do.
What it actually looks like? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool. And then Kevin asks, I think you said this at the end, but what trade areas you cover?
Yeah, so the Metro LA market, kind of starting out in like, I guess you would say like the 57 freeway going all the way west. So I go all the way up to central Northern California. I don't do the Bay Area. And then I also do Reno, Nevada.
Great. Cool. All right. Any other questions? Jessica, we appreciate your time. Thanks for letting us know what you guys are doing and being here with us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Up next is John Gordon with Choice Hotels. John, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to connect with everybody. Thanks, ACRE, for putting it all together. Yeah, I'm John Gordon. Probably you all know me from my days at Irish. And I joined Choice kind of during all this craziness about March. They were a client of ours, still are. And I still work with the Irish guys. They're still my brokers. So hit up Kevin and Charlie and Craig if you guys got any sites after hearing all this. Quickly, just about Choice Hotels. They're pretty much the largest and most successful kind of lodging franchisor in the world. You know, they're like a franchisor. They don't really own many hotels, maybe a few Cambrias here and there, but you know, they really just work straight up with developers and so got 7,000 hotels around the world, 570,000 rooms, in more than 40 countries. And it's been a really great company to work at. Interesting. I never had a real job before. And so this whole thing has been interesting, but they're a really quality company. My title is the extended stay real estate acquisition. So my job is basically to find land for our developers. And so I'm always looking for, 2 acres is always a great size to think of. We can go a little bit smaller than that if we have to, if there's some, like overlapping parking that's already there or, setbacks that aren't too intense. And we can go a little bit bigger too. Most hotel developers typically like to buy the 2 acres and be done with it. Some guys are a little bit more adventurous, but a lot of them raise their money, kind of saying, hey, we're going to build hotels and that's it. So they don't want to build a Starbucks next to it either, but some do. So don't be afraid to send me your bigger sites. I'm looking for land, and we are expanding. We've got guys that have done really well through COVID, actually. And I'm sure you probably read an article or 2 about how Extended Stay has done. Those are the 2 brands that I really represent in Choice Hotels. There are 2 Extended Stay new build brands, which is WoodSpring Suites, which has been around for a bunch of years. Choice just bought them, actually. They were started by Jack DeBoer, the guy that started the extended stay segment in the hotel industry. It was like his 4th iteration, I think. And WoodSprings has about 280 locations plus, with a whole bunch more in the pipeline. So those ones are, those ones are all over the place. The other one is Everhome. Oh, and WoodSprings is like an economy branded extended stay hotel. And because of the success Choice has had with WoodSprings, they launched Everhome earlier this year, right in the beginning of this year. And the first one is going to be here in Southern California, in Corona. That one's, I think, breaking ground soon, or maybe it already has. And so those are the 2 brands that I'm working with. So yeah, I mean, I got territory all over the Western US for some of you guys who work with developers that have, kind of properties outside of California. But for you guys, it's really SoCal, and it's anywhere in California, really. What else did I have to say? Yeah, we're you know, our Wood Springs, because they're the only ones that are open, you know, the lowest that our occupancy dipped was about 62% across the whole country during COVID. And you had, you know, the nightly hotels were really, you know, somewhere in the single digits, the teens, the low 20s. And so we've performed really, really well. And we have a lot of people kind of kicking the tires, new people coming around, who are interested in developing, you know, Wood Spring Suites and even Everhome. So we do have people, developers, you know, looking. So if you got sites, send them our way. I mean, something about the locations, the Wood Springs, we really like to be by freeways. Everhomes can be by freeways too, like retail around both. But the Everhomes can kind of be inside a business park if need be. You know, they're a little bit more specific. They're a little more gray collar workers, where the Wood Springs a little more blue collar. And if you want to see a Wood Springs, there's down in Redlands, there's one in Colton. And the one in Colton, actually, very interesting story, opened up in the middle of COVID. And it's currently running at 95% occupancy and hit that almost a month after it opened. So, you know, so we're bullish, you know, we're looking for stuff. And I think the last thing I would say, you know, I don't think I have any funny stories or anything like that, but, you know, one thing I want to talk to the brokers about is, you know, thinking about, with your clients who own these larger shopping centers with a lot of box space that's potentially going to be coming due or coming there, or they got excess space, you know, we'll take that excess land on the back end of the shopping center. You know, and I'm having conversations with developers now where we're discussing the idea of them knocking down some vacant box space, you know, and I'm doing a hotel deal, I'm doing a Cambria deal, where we're basically putting a Cambria where a Marshall's used to be, you know, like, and Cambria is a lot more flexible, and I can do Cambria deals. So if you have downtown CBD stuff, feel free to bring it to the Irish guys. But I wanted to plant that seed with the brokers today was, you know, think about, you know, when you're thinking about how to help your landlord lease space, think about hotel. I mean, it's definitely non-traditional. It's not going to work everywhere, but there's a lot of great very well located retail centers, you know, where we can put a hotel. So, yeah, so that's about it.
All right, John, appreciate that. A couple questions here. Is there a minimum room key number?
These
asking number of rooms.
Yeah,
Yep.
normally they're both around, you know, anywhere from 100 to 120, depending on, you know, kind of the piece of land and what we can get. But they're your basic 4-story, you know, even though we hired Gensler to, you know, kind of make the inside look really cool. They're really your basic looking hotels, you know, 4-story, you know, pretty simple.
Yeah. Do you, is it land only or conversions? I think you said that you are looking at boxes, purchase only or consider ground leases?
You know, people say they'll do ground leases, but I rarely ever see it. You know, it's really purchase, especially with financing being as tight as it is right now. It's harder to finance the ground leases. One thing, you know, one thing I would add too is, you know, for you kind of brokers who are dealing with your landlords, another thing that I'm approaching with the landlords is the idea that they develop the hotel. Because the way that these hotels have been set up, they're really cookie cutter. They're very simple to build. We have companies that operate them, so you don't really have to do anything. If you've built a retail shopping center, you can easily build one of these hotels. And the interesting thing for developers is you don't got to sell your land. You know, you can create a stabilized asset and then, you know, get more money on the back end if you decide to sell it. You know, these extended stays are really driven by ROI, and it's mainly investors that come in and build these and then work with kind of local construction crews to do the actual building. And it's a very good return, you know, and so the conversations we're having with some of the developers, their kind of eyes are popping out of their head, and they're starting to consider developing a extended stay hotel that they never probably would have thought of doing before. But, you know, strange times call for, you know, strange ideas, and that's one of them. So something else to consider.
Does choice put any money into the deal, or do they help with incentives with the developer as it relates to, you know, building out a hotel specifically for Choice, or is there like a program?
Yeah, no, that's
that
a
you
good
guys offer.
So Cambria is you know, kind of like the 3-star business class hotel that we also have. We have a bunch of different flags that we do. You can get key money through Cambria. They've been looking to grow that brand and have been growing that brand pretty rapidly over the last years. So there is key money available for Cambria. The possibility there might be key money for Everhome, because again, that's a brand we're trying to grow. But there's no need to offer key money for Woodsprings. You know, they're rocking and rolling. And we got plenty of people who want to build them. So that's a possibility. And really what Choice offers, you know, especially with these extended stay, is that you're given everything to do. You know, you're going to choose your own civil, you're going to choose your own architect, but we have that. We have architects in-house. We have everything kind of done. And the way that those programs work and why the returns are so good is because it's so cookie cutter. All you have to do is follow this plan and you will get it. There's also a ton of kind of back end support from Choice in terms of how we train people. And Choice won kind of out of any company, not just in the hotel industry, but like the best back end education system for their franchisees. I don't remember what the award was called, but we just won it this year, beating out companies like Microsoft and UPS and people like that. So there's a lot of support.
Cool. Do you have a ballpark number of how much it costs to build or develop for the franchisee?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So, you know, it's with Woodsprings, you're probably looking at roughly $85,000 a door minus the land. You know, and then with Everhome right now, again, it's new and the first one's going up in Corona. The estimate is about $120,000 a door. You know, but they're working to get that down even lower as well. And again, those are both kind of not including land prices.
And that's all in costs, right? Like with the lobby and amenities and everything else. Yeah. Okay. Will you guys go next to competitors, or how do you figure out where exactly you want to be?
Yeah, we'll definitely go next to competitors. You know, especially, you know, Extended Stay America is probably like the most direct competitor that Woodsprings has. And a lot of their product is old, you know, like, you know, 10, 20 plus years. So we're really happy to go right next to them because we can compete on price. And obviously the building is brand new and the rooms are a lot cleaner and nicer. You know, we'll go as long as our customers are there. You know, I have Choice has built like a heat map, I guess is the best way to call it. So anybody sends me an address, I plug it in and the site is got a score attached to it, right? And, you know, I can look at that and say, hey, this is going to do really well. And it tells me what all the businesses are around there that are going to feed it. You know, and it's different scores for Everhome than it is for Woodsprings too, because it's, you know, slightly different drivers. They're both extended stay, but with Everhome, again, you're kind of bumping up to that mid scale where, you know, you're go more for the gray collar worker versus the blue collar worker.
Yeah. All right, John, we appreciate it. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, John. Next up is Jason Escanosi, Dunkin' Donuts. Appreciate you being with us today.
Hey, it's great to be here. I really want to thank you guys, Jared, yourself, and the rest of the ACRE folks for putting this together. I think it's important that we all get an opportunity to visit with one another and share how we're evolving through these uncertain, unique times where I think there's going to be some great things that actually come out of this. Dunkin' is evolving rapidly through this. Obviously, the drive-throughs has helped us quite a bit, and with the other drive-throughs out there. I kind of want to address some things first. You know, there was some news articles that are come out about, you know, doors being shut. Well, 400 of those were announced in February, and those were convenience stores in the East Coast, which were basically self-serves, where you go in and you serve your own coffee. Now we're able to, you know, find other locations around there. That was with Speedway that was bought by 7-Eleven. And then we had some international doors closed, and then we did some domestic, just underperforming stores. But I want to make it very clear, we are expanding. We're expanding in Southern California, all over the United States. We are looking for sites. We're being very aggressive. Obviously, our main driver is going to be the drive-throughs. A couple of things that I think is very important for everybody on this call to know, and especially with John, who went before me, the creativity of taking some boxes that might not be in use now or might need to be repurposed. What I would do is I would talk to John and his Irish guys and say, hey, are there going to be any pads for cross access that we can put a 640 square foot drive-through building on that's a drive-through only? How can we capture some of the parking spaces in some of these existing centers that aren't being utilized when those changes and those parking requirements change? How can I get you guys to think outside the box completely of repurposing an end cap? Can we do a drive-through on that end cap? So right now, the smallest piece of land that we've been able to figure out how to put our drive-through only on is 10,000 square feet of land. We did that in Anaheim, or excuse me, in Wilmington. On Anaheim, we've got about 3 or 4 of those in the LA metro area right now. The other important thing is that we had a franchisee who his brother is the Wingstop franchisee. And what he was able to do is do a 2,000 square foot building. His brother, the Wingstop franchisee in Bellflower, he went in one space, and then our Dunkin' guy who developed the strip was able to do 1,000 square feet there. And we were able to put it on a very small tract of land, and it's doing very well with that AM user, which is us, and that PM user, you know, whoever that may be. You know, that one just happened to be a great marriage with Wingstop, and we'd love to figure out how to do more of those, and let your developer, your preferred developer, the brokers know that that would be a great scenario for us. We're still doing our traditional sites that would be, you know, anywhere from 800 to, you know, 2,000 square feet, where there's the land to do that. And, you know, we've, you know, some of our franchisees have taken a different approach with the dining versus, you know, non-dining when we've had our rules changed a little bit. But the cool thing is there are so many things coming out of the woodwork right now and opportunities that we're seeing. And, you know, I think that we have Ivan down in San Diego who covers, you know, up kind of the Murrieta, Temecula area along as, and also some Orange County areas. I cover LA Metro, and then Lori New is on our team, and she covers kind of Bakersfield South into the San Bernardino area. And so we're ready for deals, guys, and we'll be able to work with you any way we can. We'll give you quick answers, and we'll be as creative as possible with our franchisees. Obviously, we like to be in grocery anchored shopping centers, you know, the power centers, neighborhood centers. I'm just kind of reading off this. Really, a lot of things have, not a lot, but with daytime, with, you know, people might be staying at home more. With, you know, some of these, we need to recalibrate our high targeted areas, just kind of what's going on. And we're on top of that. We've got our market planning team that's doing a great job of helping us recalibrate where we need to be looking, you know. And so with that said, I hope that everybody was able to go out and get their Charlie D'Amelio drink from TikTok. I don't know, I'm sure if you guys have kids, it's a big deal. The lines were insane at our drive-thrus since she came out with it last week. We had 1.9 billion media impressions off of that. She has like 84 million followers on TikTok. My daughter now thinks Dunkin's cool, you know, whatever it takes, you know, I think it's awesome. But the other thing that's important to know is that we were named in Entrepreneur Magazine as the #1 franchisee right now to be going with in growth. I really believe that we're hitting that relevance button in Los Angeles. But once again, brokers, developers, co-tenants out there, we're here to answer all questions to figure out how we can add more drive-throughs, find more space in these parking lots, in-cap drive-throughs, and we can take these obscure, small, 10,000 square foot tracts of land that are out there in these dense areas, call us. We can't wait to talk to you. And what else? What else, Chris?
That's it. But I think everybody wants to know what's Charlie D'Amelio drink?
It's a latte with caramel. It's on ice. It's actually a cold brew coffee. It's a cold brew coffee with caramel on ice, and it's selling. It's selling out there. But we've got some other great things too that we've added to the menu. We have these new bagel bites. We have the bacon snacks that we have. We've got some steak fajita strip things that we're selling as well, and we've just tried to figure out. The great thing about Dunkin' right now is that we are proactive. We are proactive of helping our franchisees try and figure out the market. They've been proactive with us. Very blessed. We're still carrying the flag, and they've. I'm just amazed by how well they've been able to say, okay, we're going to do whatever we need to do to make sure we take care of our franchisees, we take care of our employees, and then we go out into the market and we figure out how we're going to be able to make the best opportunity out of these uncertain times. Socially, they've been responsible and proactive on both sides as well. And, that's really the other thing that I wanted to share.
Cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time, Jason. Thanks for sharing with us. Next up, we got Mark Safarian with Every Table.
Hey,
Mark, are you with us?
Yes. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. It's nice to do the virtual ACRE meeting. Appreciate it. Every Table, let's talk about it. We were founded in 2015 by Sam Polk, who was a hedge fund trader in New York, very successful man. And he found a higher calling, and his mission was to transform the food delivery system. And what his idea and goal is to deliver fresh, nutritious food to everybody at an affordable price. The way that he chose to achieve that and make it more economical was to remove the kitchen from the locations. So we basically took the kitchen out of the restaurant, and all of our food is prepared daily at our central kitchen in Vernon. Very interesting timing with COVID and what we've gone through here recently. We were in a 5,000 square foot central kitchen up north of Los Angeles, and I was under construction on 20,000 square feet in Vernon for a move. We were doing about 25,000 meals a week pre-COVID. COVID hits, our stores shut down. We had two that were open that were doing takeout and delivery. That Vernon facility was expanded from 20,000 feet to 30,000 feet. Was able to complete construction, get it active very timely, because we went from 25,000 meals a week to 180,000 meals a week in 45 days. And part of that was servicing Mayor Garcetti's homeless shelters, seniors Meals on Wheels, and doing work with students at risk of hunger through the universities. That kind of leads me over into the types of markets and locations that we do. And we call our locations markets rather than restaurants, because there's no kitchen in it, and it's more of an open merchandiser type of facility where you come in, you grab your clamshell pre-prepared meal, and you go to the counter and you either eat it there or take it out. 70% of our product actually leaves the store, which is an interesting fact. That's why we've only got 15 seats and we're pretty small. We could go anywhere from 6 to 1,400, 800 is our prototype. But with the 11 market locations that we have today, we deploy those in 4 different opportunities. Traditional locations, we've got 3 of those retail storefront. I've got 4 in universities. We've got 2 that are office amenity deals and 2 that are mall deals. We're currently very aggressive. We took our time and slowed down during COVID, and we've just in the last couple of weeks launched again. So for 2021, we're looking to do 10 to 12 new locations. 5 of those are already under contract. We've got 18 LOIs in various stages. 2022, we'll probably bump up to 30 to 40 locations, and the same for 2023. Our 5-year plan is pretty interesting because we're just embarking on studies for 5 major metro markets. I'm doing a preliminary exploration on San Francisco Bay Area, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C. and metro area, and 5 different cities in Texas. What else can I tell you guys today? We're starting to have fun again. We're doing deals. We've seen some flexibility out in the market. We've actually had some opportunities where I've seen existing landlords cut our rent in half, and I've seen deals that we were working on that we put on hold. Our landlord came back, cut the rent in half, and put in a percentage of sales with a 2-year equalization period where we do a 12-month look back and determine what those percentage of sales were and set a percentage of for a new base rent to convert it to a triple net deal. So we're very active. We're having a lot of fun. We're back at, going at it with real estate. Any questions? Happy to answer them.
I'm not seeing any questions here, Mark, but we appreciate the time. We are running behind, so I'm going to just keep it going. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Who's next? We got Natalie Pebbles up next with Jersey Mike's. Natalie, welcome. With us? Natalie here? If not, we'll move on. Okay, we're moving on.
Can you hear me?
Natalie, you back?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, yep, we can hear you now. Great.
Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Natalie Pebbles. I'm the West Coast Director of Real Estate for Jersey Mike's Subs. I want to thank you, ACRE, for putting this together. I think us retailers have been talking through COVID, and it's great to just hear everybody that's doing well through this, and great to finally get some good news out of the industry and out of the world. So hopefully the audience has taken a lot from it. But jumping into it, Jersey Mike's, we're still definitely rapidly expanding. Late last year, our CEO, Peter Cankro, committed to paying for all of our franchisees' retrofits. And I think that really helped free up a lot of resources for our franchisees. So they're all ready to grow. Most of them are building multiple stores at a time, so that's been great. We've got 1,782 stores open with about 160 locations coming soon. We're just slightly behind the pace that we were projecting pre-COVID, but we're definitely catching up. So we intend to hit our goal of 200 new deals this year. And I think our goal for next year will be somewhere between 250 and 300, which is great. Southern California is still definitely my most active territory. I'll look at almost anything as long as it's 2 miles away from an existing store. Our general criteria calls for neighborhood centers with about 30,000 residents, 10,000 daytime, 75 income, 25 cars per day. And I'll look into some of the Hispanic trade areas if we do have that density and if we do have those incomes, but outside of that, we're putting that off to probably next year or the following year. Our site criteria has changed a little bit in that we're trending a little bit smaller in square footage. So I'm looking at anything from about 900 square feet upwards, as long as the economics make sense in that higher square footage range. But that 900 to 1,000 square feet is new for us as of this year. So if you have anything in that size range, don't hesitate to put that in front of us. Other than that, feel free to email me some sites and I'll get them in front of our brokers and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. We appreciate it. I don't see any questions here. And by the way, thanks everybody for asking questions. If you wouldn't mind just referencing the tenant that you're talking about or who the person's name, that way we can answer these questions as we go on. There's no other questions for Natalie. Appreciate you being with us today. And we're going to move on to KFC. Lawrence, are you with us?
I am here. Good morning, everyone. So I joined KFC a little over 4 years ago in 2016 to lead the market planning function. And then at the beginning of last year, I returned back west to manage franchise development for the Western U.S., Alaska, Hawaii, and then pretty much anything west of the Mississippi River for the most part. Let's see, we're on a several-year journey of our brand turnaround. When I started in 2016, we opened 10 restaurants that year and then grew that to 24 up to 46 in 2018. And then we had close to 70 new doors open last year, and we tempered our growth this year with the pandemic. But what we're really doing is lining everything up for next year, where our target's going to be 75 new builds, and then hopefully we'll get on a runway to about 100 plus for the next several years after that. And in the West, I'm going to say a minimum of about 20 of the new restaurants will come out West, but we're not putting a limit on it. If we can grow more, we certainly will. For us, at least in the Western US, we're all franchisee driven on growth. So I work with about 70 different franchisees. Not all of them are growers, but they're certainly of different sizes, mentalities, business models, backgrounds. So it's really trying to tailor the growth strategy to what works for that particular franchisee. And I've been working with Charlie over at Irish, who's been phenomenal in helping get some leases signed. So certainly send some sites over to him, and he'll share with me, and we can just keep plugging along with this growth. We have a new franchisee as of last week in Southern California. It's Restaurant Brands out of New Zealand. They're already in the Yum family. They have KFCs in New Zealand and Australia, and they also have Taco Bells and Pizza Huts, and they're in the Hawaii market. Well, they are now our largest franchisee in Southern California, and we have them on a development agreement too. So we're looking to be aggressive with growth. In terms of criteria, we're really looking for flexibility. You know, some of the things that we heard, whether it was from Duncan or even with Jersey Mike's right before me, was that we're looking to do things in smaller formats where we can. We're really flexible if that means having dual end caps, in-cap drive-through, even inline units. So we're looking to partner up. Certainly we have our own Yum businesses that we can partner up with, but we're also looking to partner up with other concepts too, if we're able to have a dual end cap and get a drive-through. In terms of size, we're trying to bring that down to where we can do something in about a 1,500 square foot space. Site requirements, generally they can range from about 15,000 square feet of land up to probably the more typical size is going to be about 30, 35, but just learning how to do more with less, and a lot of innovation around the drive-through model. And franchisees, some insist on owning their dirt. Some are open to leases. Just with us, we don't have a breakfast layer, so our revenues aren't necessarily as high as some competitors. Granted, we do really strong with lunch and dinner, but we don't have the same operating hours. So it is a consideration when it comes to cost, what our franchisees are willing to sign up for. And really, we're looking to grow in all types of markets. You know, the lower to middle income is certainly a sweet spot for us, but we can also do well in areas that skew a little bit more affluent at times if there's a sufficient population base. And then really, we have popularity with a variety of demographics too. So with that, I'll pause, see if there's any questions.
Awesome. The only question I think I have so far is, would they consider doing an in-cap with a drive-through versus standalone?
Absolutely. In-cap drive-through. We're even looking at non-drive-through inline where it makes sense. Now, for us, and we've done really well during COVID, and part of the reason, of course, is the drive-through and just the importance of that. So there might be more desire from franchisees, even the ones that we're considering inline units, to want to have the drive-through, just because it's such a difference maker. And there's so much innovation going on, whether it be digital menu boards or click and collect, and certainly structuring a parking situation that's easy for delivery aggregators to show up and get the product as soon as they can to the customers. So we're open. It's just, I think, looking at innovative means to be able to make the transaction smoother.
The question actually was, would you do a site without a drive-through, an end cap?
We would, and we actually do have a few deals. I had mentioned Charlie before. A couple of those deals are with Starbucks, where Starbucks has the drive-through. in that case, it makes sense if you're able to get a much lower lease number, of course, and then that's the way the franchisee can actually afford to go in to that kind of deal. But more than 60% of our sales historically have come through the drive-through, and now during the pandemic, that's like 99%. So we'll push for the drive-through just so we won't sub-optimize. But if it's a really good market, we'll look at anything. And I will also say that if it's urban, dense urban, downtown areas, these are our markets that are open to us still.
Is KFC doing any corporate stores?
So we are, but we don't have corporate markets out west. They were all sold to franchisees years ago. So LA used to be a corporate market. So was Phoenix, so was Vegas. But now our main corporate market is in Orlando, Florida. And there is some growth there, but we're not going to build anything corporate out west right now. Now in the future, might we do something where corporate buys and then we refranchise the store? That's a possibility, but it's not in our immediate strategy list right now.
Perfect. Lawrence, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate the insight.
Thank you for the time.
All right. Up next is Skylar Jackson. Skylar was having a hard time getting on, logging on, but Skylar, are you with us with McDonald's?
I believe so. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you great. Thanks, Skylar.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can see you.
Okay. All righty. This is the first time I've used Zoom with this video. Our company doesn't use Zoom. We use WebEx, so just kind of getting used to this. Anyway, I'll try to get through this rather quickly because I know you guys are on a time limit or what have you. But again, my name is Skylar Jackson. I'm the National Real Estate Manager for McDonald's. I cover a good portion of the Southern California market, along with my associate, Rona Gar. Rona couldn't be on the line today because she's actually about to do her first presentation to our real estate committee in about maybe about 20 minutes or so. So I told her I would pitch hit for her. But basically, both myself and Rona cover generally the Southern California area, and that's the area encompassing from San Luis Obispo County going all the way down to the U.S.-Mexican border. As far as our the areas that we cover, hang on, let me get my slide. There we go. Just real quick, just to kind of give you guys a quick history, some little tidbits about McDonald's. Of course, we're the #1 QSR in the USA as far as number of restaurants, also in terms of income, of course. We were founded in 1955. We've got just a little under 14,000 restaurants in our system right now. And out of those out of that number, about 93% of those are franchise. In terms of site criteria, which you guys I know are looking for, right now we're looking for sites that are about an acre to anywhere about an acre and a half. In urban areas like say LA, Orange County type of areas, we will go smaller. We can go down to about 30,000 square feet. It just depends upon the parcel and how it's configured. We're looking for sites where we can get a drive-through, ideally a double drive-through. As far as our building, we're looking for a building, sites that can take a building size of, on the small end, about 4,500 square feet, up to a little over 5,200 square feet. The 5,200 square feet is really our restaurant building that encompasses the play place area. Right now, as a company, we're kind of put play places on hold for the obvious COVID reasons, but when we are looking at sites that are large enough to encompass a play place, although we may not build it right at the beginning, we would still like to be able to have the option of putting it in later on. So please keep that in mind. Ideally, we look for sites that are on corners or where we're wrapped around a corner on major intersections. In terms of parking, we look for anywhere in a minimum of about 30 spaces up and up, 40, 45 or more if we can get on the lot. As far as our deal structure goes, our preferred deal structure is we like to purchase the sites. We will also consider doing ground leases. Our ground lease terms are 20-year initial term with 8 5-year options, and we want to have a purchase option or a right of first refusal on those ground leases. In terms of our trade area criteria, we're looking for sites that are basically about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes away from an existing McDonald's. We'll try to be the focal point of a trade area, again, on a main intersection. As far as population goes, within a specific trade area or restaurant, we're looking for a minimum of about 10, 15,000 people with a good retail, daytime work component. As far as incomes, we're looking at minimum about 45,000 and up, depending upon the specific trade area. We like to try to have, obviously, a strong mix, again, of retail and daytime work. But our big generator is the home generator. So we ideally like to be in areas where there are lots of homes. As far as our plans for growth right now, just like with everything else with COVID, we were planning on opening up a bunch of restaurants nationwide, but we've kind of curtailed that. We'll probably end up opening about 30 restaurants nationwide right now. Next year, we're looking to ramp that back up on a nationwide basis to opening up 90 or more. And in the upcoming years after that, after 2021, hopefully we'll be able to open up 100 or more restaurants. In terms of here locally, we're looking to try to open up anywhere from 7 to 12 restaurants in that Southern California area that I talked about. Right now, since Rona and I just came on board with the company earlier this year, we're basically in the process of trying to sign deals. So there's really no limit on that because we're trying to build up our pipeline. So if you have a site that you think would be of interest, please send it either to myself or Rona. And in terms of the areas that we cover, basically our cutoff line is the 605 freeway. So Rona has everything that's basically south and east of the 605 freeway, which is pretty much most of Orange County, Riverside County, and San Diego counties. And I have everything that is north and west of that 605 freeway, which is the majority of LA County, Ventura, Kern County, and Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo. So I think that's about it. I will take any questions if you guys have.
Great. I'm not seeing any questions here. I'll give it a second. We are coming up on 12 o'clock, so we are going to be running long. We have 6 more tenants to go through. Any questions for Skylar before we let him go? Doesn't look like it. Thanks, Skylar, for joining us today. We appreciate the insight.
All righty. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Thanks. Up next is Donna with Primrose Schools. Donna, are you with us?
Morning. Yes.
Hi.
My name is Donna Prada. I'm the Director of Site Acquisitions for Primrose Schools. We are a premium brand early education, preschool, kindergarten, childcare facility. In certain markets, we do have after-school programs if the square footage of the building allows. So we typically look for a purchase. However, if we cannot purchase land, because we know it's difficult in certain markets, we will ground lease. We're open to build to suit, and we are open to leasing. We are required by our licensing to have outdoor play area. So that is a non-negotiable. We can get creative on the outdoor play area. It can be split up into multiple sections if that's what is allowed. So if we were to go into, say, an end cap and there's some space on the side of the building, we can convert that to play area, or the back. We've converted some Walgreens, loading docks to play area, etc. So if we were going into a lease, we look for 20 years plus, probably 3 5-year options or 2 10-year options, depending on the financing of the franchise owner. We are 100% franchised. Our demographics are going to be usually above that 75,000, probably in California more so the 100,000 range. And we look for families that are going to have their children go to our schools. So we're at about 423 open schools in 30 states. And my focus right now is Irvine, California, Laguna area, and San Diego.
Cool.
I don't know if there's
Donna,
any
I think
questions.
you said, yeah, I think you said you had to go. So, but there was just one question. With COVID, when do you expect to be able to go back to full capacity with your students?
That is depending on the city. Each city has different demands. So we have 4 schools in Northern California, and they have been able to go back at about 60% capacity.
Cool. Donna, we appreciate you being with us today and sharing.
Thank you. Anyone can email,
right.
reach out if they have any other further questions. Thank you.
Will do. Thanks, Donna. Okay, up next, we've got Christina with Sherwin-Williams. Christina, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me? I'm kind of dark, but
You can.
good. Hi.
Yep.
Thanks for having me today. Anyway, so yeah, I'm with Sherwin-Williams, and the company is 154 years old. So old company, old processes. If you've worked with us before, then I think you probably know what I'm talking about. But we do have close to 5,000 stores across the globe, actually, but majority in the North America, with about 4,700 in the US and Canada. Company is a public company, so we try to grow about 100 stores a year. So with that, my area, the division I'm in is from Texas to California, so that's about 20 to 25 stores a year. But in California, we try to do, so my area is from San Diego to Central California. So within that area, no set number, but anywhere from 2 to 5 new stores a year. So, you know, we're real heavy on the East Coast. So the growth opportunity is, you know, when you head out west, you don't see as many Sherwins. If you look on a map of, you know, the states and all the stores, I mean, it's really heavy on the East Coast. So, you know, company is trying to grow out west. So only do leases. I haven't seen any ground leases, any purchases. And so with that, we do freestanding buildings, pad spaces and shopping centers, and shopping center end caps. So we'll do 3,500 to 6,000 square feet for the space, but I think 4,000 square feet is about our sweet spot. So most of the deals I've seen are coming in at about 4,000 square feet to 5,000 square feet. What else? We do 10-year terms, as many options as you'll give me. Part of my responsibility, I also do renewals. And I mean, I see leases from 60s, 70s, and 80s. I mean, we got really old leases. So, you know, if you've got a landlord that wants a long-term tenant, we'll definitely be there for, you know, pretty much as long as you'll have us. I think that's about it. We like to be 3 to 5 miles away from existing stores. And a big one is our deliveries, you know, they come on pallets because it's paint. And so we still use the big 72 feet semi truck. So delivery is a big deal. I've never in any of my positions like gone to the back of the store as much as I do here. So we do need prefer roll-up doors. We can get away with double doors, but we do need a good delivery area for our deliveries, which are, you know, once to twice a week. But I know I've got, you know, lunch. Everyone's got lunch on their way, so I'll keep it at that unless there's any questions.
All right, Christina, thank you. I don't see any questions here, but we appreciate you sharing with us. All right, next up, we got Shay from Sports Clips. Shay, are you with us?
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'll try to be brief. I know we're running a little behind. So Sport Clips, we have about 100 locations in Southern Cal. Our plan pre-COVID was to do north of 100 stores. That has since changed, so we've readjusted that. We are actively doing sites. In the last 2 real estate committees, we've already had 15 sites approved. Going forward, we're looking for about 900 to 1,400 square feet. We look for neighborhood centers like grocery anchored, big box. We will do strip centers. We ask that there be national co-tenants, your Chipotle's, Jersey Mike's, Five Guys, Rubio's, just that type of good food use that's going to draw in a good lunchtime and evening dinner traffic. Active areas, we're active in LA County, Orange County, San Diego, Riverside, and San Bernardino. We look for median household incomes greater than 60,000 in California, 30,000 within that 3 to 5 mile range. We started in 1993. We're in all 50 states and including Canada at about 1,850 locations. Looking to be at 1,900 by the time the year's over. We do work with 2 separate brokers in Southern Cal for LA, Riverside, and San Bernardino. We work with Jesse Pastor at NAI. And then for Orange County and San Diego County, we work with Mike Fowl with SRS. I'll leave it at that. If there's any questions, we can coexist with other haircutters. We do our own thing, and we're confident in our business model. So we're not scared off by competition, assuming we can get around an exclusive language.
Awesome. Thank you, Shay. I don't see any questions here, so we're going to keep going as we're running short on time. Thanks for sharing, Shay.
Thank you.
All right. Up next is Monique with Starbucks. Monique, are you here with us?
She is not.
She is not. Okay. Moving on to Kathy Severian, the second half of our power couple. Are you with us, Kathy? I'm sure she is because Mark was here earlier. Give it 1 second. Kathy, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
All
great.
right, I'm here at the Every Table offices, the Severian Co-office, and I will just take out good morning and insert good afternoon. Thanks, Chris, for moderating. I'm with Wendy's. It's the Wendy's company. I've been with Wendy's since 2000, so just for a few years there. Fun fact is that I was actually president of ACRE in 2000. So ACRE is near and dear to my heart, of course. And I'm going to go through this real quick. I mean, Wendy's is doing extremely well. We are at about 6,700 restaurants worldwide. We are at about 11.5 billion in sales. Just this last year, or just this year, I should say, we finally, after 50 years, figured out breakfast. So that's the good news about that is we've got breakfast. The bad news is it rolled out about 2 weeks before shutdown with COVID. But we kind of all stood there a little shell-shocked when COVID hit. We worked with some of our landlords to get deferrals, you know, fully intending to pay rent, just trying to figure out how we can help our franchisees with the initial hit. But like many of us that have drive-throughs, we've been blessed to be able to operate through COVID. And we are, for the most part, up in sales. Many restaurants have double digits. So we're doing really, really well, and we're staying on track with our development. We're over 100, 125 restaurants a year, and we'll probably do 125 to 150 for probably the next 4 to 5 years. I invite anybody that has interest to go ahead and email me, because what we've got here is a really brief statement of our criteria. And we've got some pretty good information, including our real estate map. I handle California, Oregon, Nevada, Alaska, and Hawaii. And there's a team of over a dozen of us nationally, also in Canada, and again, worldwide. I'm on calls these days at 6 in the morning because we've got to get the people in Singapore, Japan, Dubai, etc. So things are going well. We're growing. One of the things I really want to emphasize is that we're very creative with our sites these days. We love our A sites. We love the A sales. We don't like to pay the A prices. So we've gotten much more creative, doing a lot of end cap drive-throughs. We are looking really hard and moving very quickly with conversions We've done many conversions before, but we see opportunities for more conversions now, obviously. You know, we've done, you know, QSR conversions, we've done bank conversions. We've got a franchisee that's as creative as they actually took a pad that there was a Payless with a 3,000 square foot building, and they converted that and added a drive-through. So really looking at anything and everything, and we have a task force to turn those around quickly to get quick responses. We're looking at urban, we're looking at colleges, airports. We are in some of the dark kitchens, delivery only. So extremely flexible with every intention of continuing to grow aggressively. So let me know if you have any questions, or please, again, email me and I can get you a much more detailed development brochure.
Thank you, Kathy. We only had one question here. Are you doing corporate stores in the IE? Or I guess in general, anywhere?
Everything's franchised out here. We're about 95% franchised throughout the system. There are occasions where we have franchisees that can utilize a program where there is a corporate lease. They have to pay a little bit of money for it, but there can be corporate leases. But we've got some really substantial franchisees growing, and many of them with multiple restaurant companies. So we've got great franchisees growing.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing, Kathy. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Last but certainly not least is Wingstop. Ronya is with us, and can you hear me? Or are you?
I can. Thank you. Saving the best for last, I see.
That's right.
So I'm going to run through this real quick. Good afternoon. So yes, my name is Rania. I started with Wingstop in January of this year as the director of real estate for the entire West region. So starting just before the shutdown has been quite interesting. We've grown to over 1,400 locations throughout the US, and we're also international in countries like Mexico, Indonesia, the UAE, United Kingdom, and others. Wingstop has always been a concept that's heavy with takeout. So just before COVID hit, we had actually enabled our app for online ordering and had signed an agreement with DoorDash. So we could never have anticipated this shutdown and, you know, everything that entailed. So regarding real estate, as we continue to look for sites, we are definitely focused on our prototypical layouts. But we've also shifted, I think, like many others, to looking at smaller footprints that accommodate just delivery and takeout, limited seating, and ghost kitchens where we see fit. And being able to look at these smaller sites has opened up opportunities that maybe weren't there before. Considering the current climate, Wingstop continues to grow at a fast pace. We've already surpassed last year's committee approved sites. And this year we're targeted to beat and actually exceed our 2020 goal. We continue to grow throughout the US in our existing markets with our current brand partners, as we like to call them. And then with all the positive news about Wingstop that's been out there, we've been gaining a lot of interest from new brand partners wanting to enter the system to grow in new markets. So you can see my site criteria is on the screen. I won't really go through that. One thing I will point out is I get a lot of brokers that email me asking me if we take drive-through sites. We are not a drive-through concept. It's not something that we are structured for. We've got long wait times for our food because it doesn't get cooked until you order it. So no, we don't do drive-throughs, but we, just like a lot of the other tenants on this call, we are shifting and looking at real estate we wouldn't have looked at before. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask or email me, and I look forward to your sites. Thank you.
Looks like the only question I'm seeing here, thank you for sharing, is what is the minimum proximity between stores?
Yeah, so that's really depends on the market, right? So in LA, we probably could go a mile apart. It's density based, it's traffic patterns, and you know, just kind of looking at what's around. I mean, in certain markets, you know, 3 or 5 miles is too close, and that's simply because of delivery. So it's as far as the delivery will go out. So it really depends. I mean, don't be afraid to send me something if you know that I'm a mile away, 2 miles away, or whatever. We'll take a look at it and we'll see if it's something that can work for us.
Cool. The other question is, who are your top competitors?
We don't have any.
Yeah.
as we like to say. I mean, you know, you've got your Buffalo Wild Wings, but they're a much larger format. I mean, they're sort of they've come out with a smaller prototype that sort of mimics what a Wingstop would be, but we really don't consider them to be competition.
At one point, Wingstop was considering doing like a sports bar concept. Is that no longer in existence?
It's not really a focus. We've got a couple of them. I think we have maybe 2 or 3. I think it's in like Vegas, and I can't remember where the other ones are, but it's really not a focus for us anytime in the future.
Cool. All right, Rania, thanks for sharing today. And
thank you.
It looks like that's going to wrap it up, and we appreciate everyone attending. I thought it went really well. So we'll try to do more of these in the future. Like I said, we're experimenting with the new formats, doing Zoom meetings, but getting together. We're doing a social hour, kind of a happy hour or hangout time. You know, everybody can pour a cocktail and just you know, talk just as a place to hang out with our community. And we'll have a grocery event coming up soon too. So we hope everyone can join us for those things. We are considering putting these on YouTube. We just need to get permissions from the panelists that were here today. We will send out the slides. We'll give you a link to the slides so you can have those. And then, yeah, feel free. We're getting these questions answered as we go along here. And remember to vote no on Prop 15. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Stay safe.